Trina.
President Trump is pushing for a hasty exit out of Syria, but some of his own advisors are reportedly trying to change his mind. They argue that Iran, Turkey, and Russia could be more influential if the U.S. leaves too quickly. On Wednesday, leaders from those three nations met to discuss how to move forward in Syria. Millions of Syrians have been drawn from the war-torn country there. But some are beginning to come home. Around 100,000 people returned to the city of Raqqa this week. A U.S.-led coalition liberated the city from ISIS last year. Nicholas Heras is a Middle East security fellow at the Center for New America Security. He joins us now from Washington. So, Nicholas, the president argues that troops should eventually leave Syria because he feels ISIS has essentially been defeated. Is that the reality on the ground?
No, it isn't. At this point, ISIS continues to maintain a sizable area of control in eastern Syria, which the U.S. Military and its local partner force, the Syrian Democratic Forces Coalition, are actively combating. And beyond the military campaign against ISIS, large areas of northern and eastern Syria, perhaps 1/3 of the country of Syria, remain unsecured. So we are still in the middle of this effort.
So how does the U.S. military view its role in Syria, and how does it feel about the possibility of leaving in the next year?
Well, fundamentally, there shouldn't be that much of a difference between President Trump's stated view and the view of U.S. military leadership. It's no secret that the U.S. military regards a potential conflict on the Korean Peninsula as sort of the next great focus of its efforts. And towards that, it wants to make the U.S. partner force in Syria a self-running machine so that the U.S. can sort of turn its focus to Korea, but it can't make its local partner force a self-running machine right away. It will take time. It could take more than 6 months, as the president wants the U.S. to pull out. It could take more than a year. It could take 2 years. And so this is where we enter dangerous territory when we say that there is a hard and fast deadline that the U.S. needs to withdraw by.
So a year ago, the U.S. launched an attack on Syria after the UN condemned Bashar al-Assad's chemical weapons on its own people. It was really an attempt to keep Assad in check, but the president then, President Trump, wants to leave Syria at this point. Does that mean Assad now has free reign over his own country and no one's going to interfere at this point?
Well, this is the other challenge with the U.S. pulling out of Syria prematurely. The fact of the matter is, even though Bashar al-Assad is in a stronger position now than he has been in recent years, he still only has limited influence beyond his center of control in central western Syria. Large areas of Syria are beyond his control, and that's where the danger lies, because it's in those areas that ISIS will try to reemerge and where al-Qaeda is trying to build a stronghold to launch attacks against the West. The job in Syria is far from done, and unfortunately, no one can step in.
So the leaders from Iran, Turkey, and Russia, they all got together and they met on Wednesday to discuss how to move forward in Syria. Each of these countries has had a historically different, and in some cases, even opposing approaches to the region in the past. We know Russia and Iran kind of supported Assad, while Turkey has been opposed to him. How do you think that these nations could ultimately reconcile their differences?
Well, fundamentally, Russia, Turkey, and Iran are concerned with the civil war in western Syria, which is far away from the U.S.-led effort in eastern Syria. There is an acknowledgement that Syria, as it once existed before the uprising against Bashar al-Assad began in 2011, is not going to happen again, and that Syria right now is fragmented into zones of control that are controlled by foreign actors. And three of the most powerful foreign actors in Syria are Russia, Turkey, and Iran. What we're looking at right now with this meeting is the next stage in a broader, great game over the corpse of what was once Syria.
Nicholas Heras, thank you so much for joining us, Nick.